believe senior day somehow has been lost in the NIL portal era. Believe me, that's not the case. Not anymore. Ben Gold, Chase Ross. Between them, they're right on the heels of Alex Caravan, who had those marvelous exploits in his 4 years, celebrated a week ago.
Yeah, it just seems like when you talk about UConn, you have to talk about Alex Caravan, and as long as he's been there 4 years, it seems like longer, but when you're up in the 140s in terms of games played, you got to talk about it. But for Chase Ross, Ben Gold, they're in the mid-130s as well,
Absolutely.
Tim, so they put their time in. Such an emotional game. I remember it like it was yesterday. You want to go out with a bang if you can. You want to win on your floor senior day. You also want to play well for all of these fans who have supported you the last 4 years.
Those are the starting lineup, sponsored by Jeep. There's only one ball. Damari, Mullins, Caravan, and Reed leading the way for the Huskies as you look at Danny Hurley, now in year number 8. And as I mentioned a moment ago, getting as many conference championships as he possibly can on his resume matters to him. And for Shaka Smart, not that far removed from a team that won the Big East regular season title a couple of years ago. Now in his 5th season, this transactional, transformative period has been tough on him. The only coach and only Division I program without a transfer this season, and yet those players, Kolick, Iguodala, were transfers. We talked to him at length about that yesterday. We'll touch on that as the game progresses. But the future is bright. This season is an aberration.
Like
really
buying
is.
Property in college basketball, retention, retention, retention.
Indeed.
So important. I'm looking early here, Tim, at the veteran Silas Demery, how he sets the table for UConn. Talked about it, very important game, getting off to a good start. So important for the Huskies.
A great crew, John Gaffney, Pat Driscoll, Greg Evans calling today's festivities. A little jump hook does not fall. Gold's pass, though, goes awry, and it's taken away by a Caravan.
Possession so very important against this UConn team. They're not a fast team. They're not going to get out and breakneck speed, but you can't give them extra chances.
Reed, beautiful dish. Well done by Demery. We talked to Mike Nardi, one of the assistants him from Villanova, of course, great player in his own right. Joined Danny's staff this past year. He said Demery's defense has really ignited this team. I don't think there's any question. He is the really big success story addition to this UConn team.
Yeah, you need, when you have a successful big, it starts with the guards. Demery, right on cue, inside to Terrace Reed, and this is a UConn team. They understand Terrace Reed is only as good as his guards will allow him to be. That starts with Demery, not just defensively, but offensively as well, as you saw there.
Gold with that dribble handoff. Tough shot, well defended by Mullins that time. Got a piece of it too, and here's solo ball.
Mullins has continued to get better off the dribble offensively and moving his feet on the defensive end every single game for the Huskies. You saw it there.
Mullins. Halfway down the cylinder and out, but Reed with a nice find and a beautiful pass on the cut to Mullins.
Probably doesn't get enough credit, Terrace Reed, for his ability to not just make a pass, but his vision, understanding where the pass needs to come from, where it's going to. Big.
Yeah, Gold can be golden from downtown. Breaks up a 3, and 2 minutes gone by. It's a 4-3 UConn lead.
That's huge for Ben Gold and Marquette, stretching Terrace Reed out, making him a little bit more uncomfortable away from the hoop.
Get our keys to the game, sponsored by Modelo, the mark of a fighter. And here they are.
Yeah, for UConn, it has to start on the inside. And we've seen that already. They are making a concerted effort to go inside and then play out. And if you're Marquette, be disruptive. We know they love deflections, and they'll keep a board on the, one of the managers will have it, a whiteboard over there telling you how many deflections they have.
Slip by Reed, a good one, and the ball fake to go with it.
Boy, he is a load, and you gotta get a body just in front of him. hard to make him uncomfortable because he knows how to carve out space early.
Oh, James on a blow-by against Demery. That's not easily accomplished, as good as Silas has been on the defensive side of the ledger. Caravan on that pop-out. Oh, beautiful pass to Caravan. Unable to convert. And yet another recycle off an offensive rebound. And Solo ball. Solo does. And it's 9-5.
So you cover Demery. You try to get to Reed. You try to get to Caravan. Oh, yeah. And by the way, #1 Solo ball from deep.
That'll be a block on Solo.
So recovering to shooters, easier said than done against UConn. You got to guard Caravan. That's Ross 2-on-1, really late cover, late close to ball. And a bunch of these guys, I would say it starts with Mullins, then Ball, then Caravan in terms of their quick release. If that ball's in their hand and you're not in front of them, it's too late.
As I mentioned, the foul does go against Ball. The one period of the year, Donnie, when I felt UConn had a bit of a lull was when Solo Ball was trying to find his way with Demery's existence, because he was new, and so much of what he was doing led to, I think, Solo's not being as effective. That's a beautiful inbounds look. And Royce Parham gets his first bucket.
When you say hits the start button, again, Nigel James Jr. started that play out of bounds under to Parham.
Reed on a dribble drive.
How about that? He faked the pass or the handoff, kept the dribble alive. How many guys 6'9", 260 or whatever he is?
Oh! Going for the highlight. Will get the foul instead. Nigel, way above the rim, this kid from Huntington, New York. Long Island Lutheran.
Again, driving baseline, help shows up just a little bit late. Nigel James Jr. has a connection to UConn. One of my former teammates, Danielle Marshall, was his trainer the last few years out on Long Island, close with Nigel James and his family. And
folks at home, I must say, I'm always impressed when Donnie gives Danielle some love, because he's probably been confused with Danielle most of his adult life. You're such a giver.
Everyone knows that I'm the one with the big mouth. I'm the Marshall with the big mouth. He's the quiet one, more subdued.
Mullins trying to work on goal, lost his dribble. Numbers now 4-on-2. Great recovery by Reed. At the outlet pass saved to James, and he lets it go from 3 and to no avail. Opportunity missed for Marquette. Mullins. Ooh. That one hung on the rim for quite a while. Solo Ball has one go crying off the front iron.
Attention to detail, so important. This is where I think Marquette can get out and run a little bit, averaging almost 15 points a game in transition.
Gold tried for the majestic slam. Ross from downtown.
Just faded just a little to his left, but they're getting some good opportunities, Marquette.
See Chase with that harness on that left shoulder that's been banged up. These two seniors not only have played tough, but they've played in pain. Both of them, a lot of guys would not be playing today as seniors with the injuries that they both encountered. Bone spurs and shoulder injuries. And then transition, Nigel James is fouled. Reed off to a great start. 6 points, 4 boards, and dropping dimes too.
About the bigs, Tim.
Yeah.
The Red Mamba from the top of the key, Ben Gold, and then Terrace Reed. The Kodiak Bear down low. Got a good one here, folks. Big East basketball on Fox.
Take me to the river.
To go along with Kevin Ollie, a 7th seed back in 13 and 14, and then Dan Hurley's last 2.
Just because we suffer from recency bias, that 2013-14 year Kevin Ollie,
yeah,
to get to the national title, they beat every major conference champ, in regular season or tournament champ.
Yeah.
Coach Hurley's team in 22-23, they were finished fourth in Big East play.
And I had the honor of covering Calhoun's first 2 rounds in the NCAAs in 10 and 11, the Kemba season, when that team really came out of nowhere, had that gigantic Big East tournament game that went to overtime, and against the Cuse, managed their way all the way to the national championship. And of course, that particular season, they wound up playing Brad Stevens' Butler team, who had made the title game for the 2nd consecutive year, losing to Duke in 10 and UConn in 11. Nigel James looking to motor it. Waits for some help, and he gets it from Gold.
See, that's when I'd like to see Nigel James just keep getting downhill as the defense is on their heels. You got to be front-footed against UConn, meaning force the issue in transition, because now they get you in the half court, and they've done a really nice job of boxing guys in, throwing some switching in there defensively. They kind of square you up, and now leads to a turnover.
Dominance inside for UConn early on with points in the paint, rebounds to go with it. Caravan, they just know where one another are. This time it's knocked away, and it'll belong off the deflection to Marquette.
Good look to Ryba. He was just a little too deep, and sometimes, and he's gotten better as well as Mullins every single game, but sometimes as young guys, big youngs, you catch it and you're just behind or just even with the backboard, and you really have no room to work. If you can pause and catch it a foot into the paint a little higher, it gives you more room to work.
The Ryba entry into the game does change the look of the Huskies, particularly on the defensive end with Reed out. Not dissimilar really from the Sonogo days with Klingon. Ryba is developing and will get there, no question about that. But from the opposition's point of view, it does change your mindset a little bit in attacking the Huskies.
Yeah, you know, you can't really compare the two. I think obviously Ryba's much longer, so at the rim he's going to affect your shots probably just a little bit more than Terrace Reed in terms of length, but the body that Reed puts on guys wears you down, and Eric Ryba will get that. And he and Adrian Stevens were teammates in high school 3 years. Talked to him about that before the game. Saw them having some conversation.
Perimeter shots just not falling early. Stevens unable to connect that time. It's been over a couple of minutes since either team has scored.
Can you imagine playing against that high school team just with those two?
Absolutely. That would be difficult. And James going for the steal and bumps into Mullins. That's one of those giveaway fouls that you hate to see.
That's one, you better get it if you're going to get it. But I would rather the foul up top than you whiff it, and now you know what whiffs are. I've seen your golf swing.
Had a few of those.
And then the guy rips through, and now he gets to the rim, and numbers are against you.
The whiffs were much worse in baseball in the 70s.
Oh, were they?
I mean, Oh, beautiful defensive recovery. Well done by Stevens.
Stealing that from his old teammate. That was going right to Ryba.
Demarius Owens playing with that mask after being hit in the head a couple of games back. Has that Rip Hamilton look out there, but he does hope to get it off at some point, but he's been a bit concerned after that head injury of his.
Something tells me that Adrian has been in this position before, seeing the ball go to Eric Ryba and picks that off. Great anticipation there.
Owens, way too strong. And the rebound corralled by Jaden Ross. That's an unheralded player. He's had a good
by
year.
Stevens.
And now Ross, out of frustration that time, picks up the foul as Stevens makes yet another defensive play.
This might be really one of probably the two of the better possessions back-to-back I've seen in Marquette. If you take out the Providence game, they did a good job defensively their last game against Providence, but just putting those defensive plays together in a long time, and it's what you need to stay in a game and get an advantage here at home against UConn early.
Yeah, they lost a tough one here at home to DePaul. By the way, how about the job Chris Holtman has done this season with DePaul and getting them where he has in such a short time?
I think he and Shaheen Holloway have to be neck and neck for coach of their. But you could make the argument that Rick Pitino and Dan Hurley every year are front runners.
Caravan almost had the steal, but the ball was on the baseline, and Marquette will keep it underneath their own hoop. 16 to shoot.
I feel like this. The Big East has gotten back to, in terms of the personalities of the coaches, when I played. You know, you have these big, vibrant personalities. Dan Hurley probably leads that. Again, he and Pitino probably could win the award for that. Cold personalities.
Stevens. Look out. And he did it right over Ryba. And he's giving him a little whooping on the way back.
Each other. That's so great.
Hey, big fella, you better extend that arm a little bit more next time. That was fun to watch. We're tied at 11, and that ended about a 4-minute drought for both teams not scoring. Ross.
They have to close on him. He's gotten much better shooting those 3 balls from the corner, Ross. Got
Look out! Look out! Jitterbug this! A scoop to the hoop! Move over because Mr. James is coming through.
But Marquette doing a wonderful job getting into these sets because of their defense, opportunities. And then Nigel James Jr., the head of the snake, getting downhill softly off the glass. We see you, young fella.
Guys, James has been at the rim about 8 times. Right, we've had so many breakdowns and ball screen defense here. We're allowing them to just get comfortable as hell right now.
Yeah, UConn the last 440, they've been trying to get out of a hobble and back into their amble the way they started this game. But when this young man continues to get downhill, it just keeps so much pressure. He has all the creativity you need to create for himself, but also the vision to see his teammates. Has to continue to get downhill, and there is numbers what he did last time against UConn.
And by the way, during that period of time, as Marquette has taken the lead, the Huskies have gone 4 minutes and 40 seconds now. No field goals and 5 turnovers themselves.
And this is a UConn team that started the game the right way. 5 field goals, 5 assists. But the turnovers, again, it slows you up, but it also gives energy to your opponent. That's what's happened this last 4 or 5 minutes.
You know, a lot of guards through the years, Donnie, have told me, starting with Mookie Blaylock back in the day, you know what, if you're a guard like Demery, the last thing you want to deal with is a guard that can get underneath you.
Yeah.
And that's what Nigel James does. Mullins, off the heel, Reed skies for the rebound. Boy, James is everywhere. I mean, hands of Velcro. He's grabbing and deflecting every pass that he can.
Royce Parham doing a nice job down low, fighting Reed, and then what is not talked about enough is ball pressure when the guards are making these simple passes inside.
James lost his footing, or Stevens lost his footing that time, created an avenue for Smith. And Malachi now throws it away.
You're afraid of the deflection, so that pass is a little bit outside of where it needs to be.
That's 6 turnovers now for UConn. This is a 7-0 spurt that Marquette's on.
The biting of the lips by Coach Hurley is restraint.
Yes.
That's what you see, and he understands better than any of us. This time of year, it's a sensitive time. You're all on the same page. You know what has to be accomplished, and you got to keep your guys even keel. You got to coach with emotion, but not be emotional.
Hayden Hamilton in the game now for Marquette.
That's Alex Caravan jumping in there with those long arms. Solo ball as well. That's how you converge.
Demery's impact has been thwarted early on in this game. James has had a lot to do with that. Caravan off the feet inside, and there's a foul. But they might get Hamilton.
We just talked about ball pressure. Take a look at this. This pass can't happen from here. Got to get up into Demery. I mean, that's basically a chest pass, a higher chest pass. Coming from that angle, it just can't happen. Hands have to be up. You know what UConn likes to do. Demery's not going to, at that stage in the shot clock, Tim, he's probably not going to take you off the dribble. So you have to get up into him just a little bit with your hands high.
We've had a lot of UConn games this year, and I think almost always we've said, well, it's taken this long for Caravan to get in the scoring column, and yet he still makes the daggers at the end of all these games. I talked with Alex before the game. He's one of those guys you have to congratulate as you see James with an answer from downtown. Alex told me one day he'd love the coach once his playing career is over, and I'm just going to project 10, 15 years from now, I could see him being announced as a UConn head basketball coach. I could see that happening.
All right, as long as he doesn't want to be a color analyst. I don't care what he does.
So the answer, Demery making his move.
Stay away from my chair, Alex. And I'm sure he could be great at that as well.
Yeah, oh yeah, he could. 17-15, Golden Eagles by a deuce. James, beautiful. Everything but the finish there. Ball has Mullins. Where you miss a perimeter jumper and the Huskies will make you pay.
And it's so interesting because they're not a team that plays with pace, but they will take those opportunities and get out and run.
Cross off the bounce. Beautiful use of the ball fake. I thought he lost his dribble for a moment, but it actually helped him get started on his straight line drive. There's the dump down to Reed. He's already got more rebounds than Marquette as a team has. And you see those flashes to the basket. We're tied at 19.
And these are the situations here when the pace slows a little bit. Marquette just has to be sharp.
Ross in traffic. That's going to be a block, and ball's upset. That's number 2 on Solo. Wrong place, wrong time for him there. And he's saddled with his second, and right away they're going to get Ross into the game.
I feel if Ross doesn't step on Solo Ball's foot, they play on. But I don't have a problem with that call. Pretty good job sliding your feet. It still tends to be and continues to be one of those calls, Tim, that you know, it's subjective at times.
It's a hard luck foul. That's going to be a moving pick against Gold. And that's number 2 on Big Ben Gold, which will make the look down the bench for Shaka pretty important, as he's going to get Parham up and to the scorer's table. Next dead ball, he'll check in for number 12.
UConn's 3 of their last 3. Marquette needs to figure out how to get a stop. Good deflection there. Again, that's what they do. Hands in the passing lanes. Mirror the ball, as we say.
I dare say this is not a team that you would think only had 6 conference wins, Marquette, the way they're playing. Again, a beautiful move that time with the ball by Silas Demery. And the Raleigh, North Carolina native gives UConn the lead at 2, 21-19.
Staying patient in your defensive sets against UConn it has to be a priority, because they will play all the way to the 3-second mark on that shot clock.
Gold has to be careful. Nice runner off the window.
He's made one earlier, so now Reed pushes out. He puts it on the floor, which he's capable of, as you saw there.
Demery unable to bring it in. It'll stay on this end of the floor. Timeout in Milwaukee. The Huskies get rolling off of those misses, don't they?
They do, and look at Ben Gold. Dare I say, getting downhill.
Oh, and killing it softly. Roberta Flack. Off the glass. Cut with Shaka Smart.
Hey, all right, listen, guys. When we play with force on that end down there, we give ourselves a chance to go get a good shot. All right, when we play tentatively, they're going to be physical. They're going to rough you off of cuts and drives. All right?
And that's what you and I talked about in terms of getting downhill. taking those opportunities, and you see right there the second chance points. You got to play with some violence to combat how UConn plays, as Shaka Smart said there. But UConn now gains confidence from that defense when you're on your heels. They made 4 of their last 5 shots after missing 6 straight, Tim. So it's a UConn team that is fueled this year more than last, much more than last, by their defense.
Indeed. Of UConn's 9 field goals, 8 of them have been in the paint. So they've been living in the lane, and second chance points come that way as that one's knocked away again by Owens. He gets some love from his teammates over there. We were at practice yesterday. I was really interested in talking with Shaka because, this is the first time I've seen them this year, and the culture hasn't changed. The team's mentality hasn't changed. They practice like a team that had won more than 6 conference games. And now look today and how they're competing. Up against the clock, and the defensive job well done.
Message sent, message received by Marquette. Shaka Smart's guys step up out of a timeout. Hands. There's another deflection. And it's at 10. They track those deflections, which I've always said this. It should be on our stat boards. It should be an official stat because it disrupts. It changes the complexion of games, not just of possessions. As you saw there, late in the clock, Marquette going the other way. My
question to him, if you recall, was you'll be in this game late if you do what? He began with deflections.
Yeah, it's really, again, as much as UConn has so many different parts to what they do to get going offensively, Marquette's similar. Deflections fuel what they do in terms of gaining possessions and giving themselves extra opportunities. And extending plays as well.
Parham from downtown. Off the heel, Ross collects it. Mullins, a 360 move, and the answer.
Mullins, good job playing through the contact. Might have got slapped on the arm, but the follow-up.
Boy, I tell you, James has just been all over the place. Second chance points remain. That's 7 love for UConn. But the answer's always coming from Marquette. They won't let them get away. We're tied at 23.
We've learned that when Nigel James Jr. is smiling when he's running back on deep, not a good thing for the opponent.
Caravan, that ball comes off dead off of the back rim.
It just means he's comfortable and having a little bit too much fun for the taste of the opponent.
Great defensive help.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just remarkable.
Nigel James Jr., we talked about, continues to be a force for this Marquette team. See that little grin, a little showing some teeth.
Shoot him some gleam, Nigel.
And Nigel James, he's an interesting player, we know that, but has had some big games for Marquette this season.
Owens that time, I think, was panicking when he didn't need to.
Nigel James has scored 30 points and dished out 12 assists in a game this year. That was against Xavier. The only other freshman to have 30 or more than 10 assists, A.J. DeBonsa.
Wow.
Pretty good company.
That's pretty good company.
Of all the great freshmen we have in college basketball today.
Reed, no help coming, and he'll destroy that.
You gotta probably
dig, maybe come down a little.
Yeah, fake like you're coming down. Maybe even come from behind where you can't see and be ready to recover with help, but
Parham lost it down low. Now he's fouled by Reed, and that's a giveaway foul. When Reed has gotten in trouble, it's been with needless fouls, and that's an example of it. 10 points for him, all in the paint, but there are moments when he gets a little handsy, and that time with the ball on the deck, he reached in to pick up his second foul.
Dan Hurley wanted to travel here by Parham, and there's a lot of dancing going on down there by Parham, and could have been the reason why the contact was there. So I don't disagree with Coach Hurley, I think when you're, in my opinion, when you're an official on that baseline and you have these big bodies, the easy place to look is up top.
Yeah.
Is their body contact. And I've seen it a lot this season. I think needs to be cleaned up before you get into conference play and before the tournament starts. Watch the feet on the gather, and now the extension to go back up. A lot of happy feet down there, Tim.
Parham got one of the two, so it's a 1-point game with 5 and change remaining.
I'll keep that in my notes to give you John Gaffney afterwards.
I run into those guys at the airport all the time.
We got a great crew today.
We do.
Yeah. Evans, Driscoll, and Gaffney. Good guys.
Demery, a floater.
Look at him staying with it.
Yeah, gets it back out to Mullins. Never had the shoulder squared there. Raba tied up by Gold, and that's a tremendous play by Big Ben, given the fact he's playing with 2 fouls already. He's smiling about it. Raba, I think, got a little bit upset, the younger player, but Gold was smiling the entire time.
I would say these situations, and the refs are saying, okay, just let it go. I feel like when I played, I was undefeated in those just because I was stubborn.
Yeah.
I was hard-headed, and it doesn't mean anything, but you're coming away with the ball. And like, I've been there. You just never want to give up the ball, even when the whistle is blowing. I love the fight.
Something to keep a note of is how this team plays UConn, particularly on defense when Reed is out of the game. They're -6 with him sitting.
Wow.
Mullins gets the pilfer and produces on the other end. 27-24. Hold back out there, sets that pick. Ross can't connect.
You'd love to see Chase Ross have one of those go down.
Caravan finding Ryba. The ball's on the deck. Look at that hustle.
Wow.
Human floor burn down there. Just tremendous work.
I just love the fight. This is the last game for each team of conference play, and they are diving for loose balls. This is a team in Marquette has 6 wins in Big East. They're not playing like that. UConn is not playing like they're trying to get to next week. I love the fight both these teams are showing right now.
Well, that tells you, a guy like Ross with that harness on that shoulder, I mean, just throwing his body around. Yeah. They want to get the most out of the college experience. In this day and time, we hear way too often about it not mattering, people not caring as much. Well, these young men do, and that's obvious with the performance we've seen thus far. We've gotten a little bit quick, Donnie, on the offensive end of late. Have turned it over, and we don't want to give UConn the last 4 minutes of the half after playing so well for so long. Mullins, look out. Oh, and discard underneath the basket. Foul spotted against the Golden Eagles.
Braylon Mullins can do a lot of things in the half-court knockdown shots, but look at this, the pick 6, little tightrope on the sideline there, using his body, finishing. UConn up 3.
The Kurt Gowdy Award winner for writing, Seth Davis, is in the studio with Rob today, and our congratulations go out to Seth. You look at the basketball tournament brackets, St. John's is the 1 seed regardless of the outcome of this game. And yeah, I mean, UConn having to come through the 2. St. John's, by the way, does get to play in the early windows, which gives you a little more rest.
Yeah.
That's an advantage to being in the 1 seat when you get to New York.
And it's and there you see it. They clinch a share of the Big East regular season if they win. Now, the interesting thing is that UConn lost to Creighton.
Right.
And now they go down the tiebreaker. They both beat Seton Hall, St. John's, they both beat Villanova, but Creighton beat UConn, and almost probably St. John's loss to Providence was a worse loss.
Right.
But now it's a better situation for them.
You and I had that game with Providence
we did.
And St. John's. And I think the game that really turned it the wrong way for Providence was in the aftermath. They had UConn on the ropes and couldn't get that W. I think that would have changed their season dramatically had they won that game. But
yeah, I agree.
It's tough in this league when you lose a game like that to rebound. Ross, little hang time, and on that follow, a foul is spotted underneath by Greg Evans.
Can't speak enough about Silas Demery, and one of the best rebounding point guards, not just in the conference, but in the country. He sticks his nose in. He doesn't run to the other end. This is him keeping that ball alive, getting fouled. He's done that consistently, game in, game out. He doesn't retreat. He tries to help his teammates dig out another offensive rebound, and that's 9 offensive rebounds for UConn in the half.
By the way, you may have noticed that the score was adjusted from 27-24 to 27-23 prior to that bucket and foul. That was because one of those threes for Marquette were changed to a 2. Now, look, I touched on this just a couple of minutes ago. We got 3:11 left. You have performed admirably all day, but now you're teetering against a team like the Huskies, who can own you over a 3 to 4 minute span. And here we go again. A pilfer and a foul, and now you're squarely looking at a potential double-digit deficit at halftime against the Huskies. That's what they do, Donnie. It's just what they do.
Yeah, it really is, and we've had them enough, Tim, to know that if you fall asleep 1 or 2 possessions, they just make you pay. And when you play UConn, your effort may be more important than your execution. Because teams will make shots, broken plays, get some questionable calls to go your way. They may miss some easy ones, but if you let a deep and talented team outwork you, UConn has made teams pay.
And Shaka Smart understands this, because Nigel James coming back on the floor with 2 fouls. He can't afford to play these last 3 minutes without his engine on the deck.
And at some point, again, we've talked about Nigel James learning on the fly as a freshman in the Big East Conference, getting extended minutes. And this is another one of those situations where Shaka Smart trusts him. Now, can he go out there and show that he's worthy of being trusted this last 250?
Michael Phillips, number 35, a young freshman, into the game for the first time as well. And here's a foul inside. Ryba had his hands straight up, but Greg Evans is going to tag him, and Danny Hurley barks just a little at Mr. Evans.
I mean, Ryba did everything he was supposed to do. Now, let's see if they're straight up, though, Tim. That one's hanging. That's a foul right there.
That is a foul.
That's
I think the right arm was down a little early. I don't know that Danny saw that in real time. I didn't either, so I get it.
I don't like to disagree with Coach Hurley. I just don't. But that one right there, I have to say, was a good call.
Yes, it was. Yeah. Royce Parham hit on 50% of his free throws today. He's going to need to make all of the freebies today. You've got to be at your absolute best to beat the Huskies. And missed opportunities and live ball turnovers will kill you. And they've committed a few of those during this stretch that the Huskies have stretched their lead. Mullins. Look at Ryba on the glass. Oh, the iron tantalizingly unkind. It hung for almost a half a minute, it appeared, for the Huskies. Now Marquette with a chance to convert. Off the bounce, a big one for Adrian Stevens.
And Shaka Smart is fired up. He's in a defensive stance. That one we've come to see so often when his team is fighting their way back into games, making great plays. Adrian Stevens, beautiful pull-up.
And the fan base across the way rises to attention here. Trying to fight off all of these offensive rebounds and second chance points. And Ryba gets another to fall along the baseline.
The thing about UConn that you're not going to do to them is you're not going to speed them up. You're not going to really make them uncomfortable. They play with such poise and such patience when they get into their sets.
Stevens. Oh, beautiful runner. And went crossover and behind the back. A little shimmy, shake, bake, take. And it's 33-29. See that perimeter ball pressure being extended by Marquette. Timmery, just tough. When you need it, he makes the play.
He is a warrior. Just what the doctor ordered for UConn this season.
Ross in traffic. Again, nearly turned it over. Stevens a step back. And a foul against Mullins. And that'll be 3 at the line.
Tell you, Marquette running their stuff to perfection here. Good screen on Mullins there. Stevens, beautiful pull-up, knockdown. Look at the little pity pat. Using that strength high off the glass. That'll get you Ian Horse every day of the week, Tim. I'm just telling you right now. And Stevens again. Well, you got the two young bucks going at it, taking it personal.
Somewhere Kenny Anderson is smiling at watching Stevens, right? He's like, there's a right-handed version of me out there making plays where the ball becomes a extension of the anatomy.
Hold on, easy now. To Kenny Anderson, easy. Pace ourselves with the Kenny Anderson comparisons, okay?
Yeah, he's up there.
He's
Marbury.
He is a god.
Yes,
we got to be careful.
I saw Kenny with one of those plays against Duke when Crimmins had him in the early 90s. I mean, I'm telling you, I could not believe it. I've never seen anyone make a play like that.
Not saying Adrian Stevens can't get there, but let's just pace ourselves on that one.
What made it more awesome with him was that he was a lefty. You know, that Kenny was left-handed. Stevens now with 7 points in the last 90 seconds for Marquette. And that was huge. Those buckets by him really stemmed this UConn run at a critical time in this game. Well, the stage is set for a weekend where IndyCar and NASCAR go back-to-back, one track. Today, IndyCar. Tomorrow, NASCAR. All from Phoenix. Udden on Fox and FS1 will take you to the desert for the Desert Double. 3 p.m. today on Fox and tomorrow on FS1.
You know, you mentioned the atmosphere and the energy when we were at practice yesterday afternoon, and I think what added to it, senior day obviously today, but you had, it looked like every single player's parents, maybe a couple grandparents.
I don't think I've ever seen that, Donnie.
Sitting courtside, not up in the stands 10 rows up, courtside. That's just the atmosphere that Shaka Smart, he encourages. He's done that every place, but most importantly here in a time of college basketball where there's a lot of uncertainty year to year, you need those relationships. You need people to feel like this is a family. And boy, did you feel it in that practice yesterday.
Well, you see the leading scorers of our game, and going back to Shaka from being born in Madison, Wisconsin, and of course beginning as a little guard at tiny Kenyon College, a liberal arts school. Made his way up through the ranks as an assistant, worked for Billy Donovan at one time in the state of Florida. I mean, his pedigree is incredible, and it is about family with him, no doubt about it.
No silly fouls if you're Marquette, and you got a gang rebound here. Try to dig this ball out. UConn's going to run their stuff all the way down.
Demery. Caravan keeping it alive, but he has his pocket picked by Parham. And a quick timeout taken by Marquette with 7.5 remaining in the half. The job they've done inside has been dominant, the Huskies.
Yeah, 12 points off turnovers won, but 24 of their 35 points have come from in the painted area. And it's not just Terrace Reed. He obviously got them going. He's got 10 points in there, but it's a collective effort always for UConn. I think it's another layer of what makes them so special this season is that they don't settle for any one part of the game. They share the heck out of the basketball. They obviously have a terrific three-point shooting team, second in the Big East in terms of percentage, and then they know how to get it to those two big guys down low. 23-9 in rebounds, 12 offensive rebounds for UConn, 1 for Marquette, Tim. And that is, it's tough to combat that.
The equalizer has been deflections and fast break points off for Marquette. That's how they've managed to stay in the game.
And that's what Marquette does. They deflect, and then they get 15 points in transition. They're going to need more of that in the second half.
Nigel James, hello, how do you do?
Well, let's see how this happens, Tim. You rest, relax just a little bit. Great job by Marquette, the offense, defense with Nigel James. You talked about it. He had a couple of fouls. You go under that, not really a screen. It was Parham in the way. That was a 10-4 run to close. Toes on the line. Could be a 9-4 run, but still, the way you finish the half, so important for Marquette. Going into that locker room, your fans are going to be talking about it at halftime. We got a good one. Go get your, whatever it is, what time? Get your popcorn.
Yeah.
Japan, the yokes wanna kick it, Jackie Chan.
Time to strike the pose as we take a look at our first half stats, sponsored by Jeep. There's only one, and Donna, you said at the top that Marquette would have to shoot it well. They've certainly done that. They've been unable to keep UConn, though, off the boards, and that's been the major factor, I think, so far in this game, has been really the job that the Huskies have done. Terrace Reed had a lot to do with that. And certainly on the flip side, Nigel James getting back into the game. Shaka Smart did a smart thing. You like that?
Yeah, I like the offense.
By getting him in there in the last 3 minutes of that first half.
Look, you know how I feel. You get 5 fouls. You only had 2. So, but you got to trust your young guy at some point. One guy we know how the game should start for UConn, who they trust immensely, is Terrace Reed. I thought that the Huskies got off to a terrific start by throwing the ball inside to him, seeing how it was going to be guarded. No double teams came. This is a tough matchup for Royce Parham. Go down the list of bigs in the Big East. He did a nice job early, and then on the other side, boy, I'm telling you, Speedy Gonzalez, this kid just has a motor that just continues to get downhill and to keep you on your heels, and this one to end the half. The only thing he did wrong was not get those toes behind the line a couple of times, but now if I had to pick my nits, that's what it would be.
By the way, how many times have we said at halftime, Alex Karaban has not had a field goal?
Tim.
And yet somehow, some way, he makes an impact before the end of the game. He and Solo Ball together
combined
only 1 bucket.
Yeah, and then you throw in there, Braylon Mullins was 0 for 5 on threes. So good news, bad news for Marquette. You're only down 2, but their 3 studs, UConn, haven't been around.
Reed. Good idea to not put the ball on the deck. To get it there, keep it high, and lay it in, which he did. It's 37-33. Using the starting 5, same as before. That's an excellent defensive play by Demery, but it'll stay on this end of the floor.
This is a tone setter. You know how the first half ended with energy in here, little brush screen there, a low kind of a pick and roll, if you will, pick and step, because he really didn't roll to the basket. That's a really nice play. It confuses the defense. Do you switch? Do you stay? And it also allows a guy like Reed to now have 2 feet in the paint when he catches that ball, and we know he's deadly when he gets it there.
There was a conversation between Pat Driscoll and John Gaffney. I think they thought about maybe changing the possession, but they did not. And here we go again with another pick. This is called, and it's turned over as Ben Gold gets his 3rd. So he becomes the first player
Tim, take
with
a look.
3.
This is another one of those plays you and I talked about off air about it's gotten sloppy in terms of the calls. Those hips sliding in, the late step. Great call right there. They got to clean that up. Players are going to start to get hurt.
Also critical, there's Reed one more time where he can devastate you. Goes reversal as Gold came over. I think it's even more important that this young man doesn't get a 3rd foul. I mean, James has got it, and he's going to be tagged by Mullins. But as much as he controls the ball, he cannot pick up an early third foul, Nigel James.
Here's again, how do you guard this? They ran it twice now. It's a low pick and step. It's not even really a slip because that's Reed catching it 2 steps away from Demery, who starts the post up. Communication has to be on point, on the ball, on the screen, but then on the weak side as well. Get there a little late, you pay.
Caden Hamilton has come in for Ben Gold. James going crossover again, and is fouled by Demery as he takes it to the 10, and that's number 2 on Silas.
You know, Demery does such a nice job moving his feet. He's got terrific foot quickness. But I think I would play around a little bit with James in terms of how I'm guarding him, giving him just a tiny bit more space. Not that Demery can't stay with him, but change up your looks. Instead of 100% up into him, trying to get your body to body, back up once, then come back to him, then back up. If he tries to pull up, you have the size advantage. Those type guys you got to play around with a little.
James is 3rd in the nation among top Division I freshmen in assists, behind only Acuff of Arkansas and Flemings of Houston. Think about that. That's some tall company. And by the way, they're both a lot taller than Nigel James. Acuff is just a wizard with the ball. Solo ball can't connect.
Such a beautiful stroke he has, though. Every time it leaves his hand, it looks like it's going in. You're still trying to calibrate when you sat down with a couple of fouls, only 10 minutes in that first half, to get going again if you're solo ball.
Stevens. Shot clock under 10. Nice pass inside to Hamilton, and he converts off the window pane. Dropping dimes when not scoring, Nigel James, and it's 39-37. To get to that left hand, disrupted that time. Ball is on the deck, deflected off of UConn, and Marquette gets it back.
Tell you, this is UConn is taking advantage of Reed down low in the paint. And we talked about how they have that balance. The balance isn't there from behind the arc. They have missed their last 9 threes, so it's so important now to try to soften up that defense by getting into the paint. Now guys collapse, and it'll alleviate some pressure on those 3-point shots. But they are 1 of 11, UConn. And by the way, still up 2 points, Tim. So
James, beautiful pass. He knew where Hamilton was. We're tied at 39. Kaiser Forum sounding like it usually did a couple of years ago. And this team was vying for and winning Big East titles in ball with a silencer from downtown.
Look, you can't hope that solo ball continues to miss. You have to do things to make him uncomfortable. That was just a beautiful look. Again, one of the prettiest strokes in all of college basketball. Finally gets one to go.
In traffic. That one doesn't fall for Parham. Well defended inside. Reed is such a force. Solo again. And a rebound taken away by Stevens. Out of bounds as Silas Demery knocks it away.
You got to continue to pursue the basketball if you're on offense as well. Parham does a nice job. You know that Nigel James Jr. is going to draw a bunch of guys. You got to follow him up and help a teammate out. And boy, he is this team's inspiration. And then solo ball, this is his second. As I say, gets one to go because they've been struggling from there.
Oh, man. James can just get underneath you. Demery really frustrated that time. Like, this guy's like a water bug. I can't keep up with him. He sneaks into spots that other guys can't. 42-41.
You're taught in college basketball, especially low man wins. Ooh, good move by Demery. Don't show him everything, Silas. Woo!
He was showing his wares on that dribble drive and is fouled by Adrian Stevens.
Did everything but get the bucket to go. He anticipated the steal coming from James. I mean, boy, that would have been a highlight reel if that ball went down. But you see a little bit of Silas Dimmery's not just a defensive guard. He's not just a guy who sets the table. He can go get his offense. I think he's one of the few guards in the NCAAs that gives the game what it needs and doesn't force. Very rarely do you see him forcing much.
The Huskies have not missed at the stripe. This will be their 9th attempt. They're 8 of 8 after that free throw by Dimmery. And we gave him the old announcer jinx. 43-41. First miss at the line for UConn today.
And Marquette is showing the temerity you need to play against a UConn team. They have not backed down, finding some belief and playing with boldness.
Oh, that's a beautiful find. Off the heel, though, the Stevens aerial from downtown. It's a 2-point lead for Connecticut. Beautiful pass out of the post to Mullins, and he's still cold. And that's an over the back on Reed, and that's 3. And that is trouble, and Danny Hurley knows it, and he's letting Greg Evans know it. He is not happy. He is letting him know. Yeah, this conversation is not going to stop during this timeout. 43-41 is our score. And this game now is tilting based on percentage shooting by the homestanding Golden Eagles. And 56% will do you a lot better than 32 in the last meeting in early January.
I just like the fight. This looks like the Marquette team that we've seen of old.
Oh, yeah.
On both ends.
And when we say old, we mean last year.
So right. I mean,
yeah.
Look, 3 of 11 from 3, okay, but defensively they're creating opportunities. And Terrace Reed is that's a big story here for UConn. Not that Ryba isn't capable. I think now your focus has to be on that perimeter, and Reed having a terrific game across the board.
I got to tell you, Ethan Cooperson, who is my guru of numbers, that stat line on Reed, you saw it, and it's magnificent, right? But consider this, with him on the floor, they're +8. With him on the bench, they're -6. So not having him right now, and that's not to disparage Ryba at all. He's going to be fine. But
a different look.
You would rather, if you're Marquette, see him out there than Terrace Reed. Stevens challenging the rim.
See, that's where I think Ryba affects the game differently for UConn in a positive way. He's so much longer than Reed. Even though Reed's a terrific defender, Ryba's length is disturbing.
Sort of the Klingon effect after he had gotten some experience with Sonogo.
Yep.
Sonogo was the returning player of the year, and that next year you really wanted to see more of Klingon than you did Sonogo.
That's right.
It's 45-41 as Ryba gets a bucket. Ross. And that's a 3-ball that they'll take from Parham. 32% on the season. And the Golden Eagles, plentiful from downtown, managing to stay in the game.
Ooh, that's a tough one.
Look at that. It'll go the other way. Wow. And Danny is now barking at John Gaffney to go along with Greg Evans.
This is an Alex just moves in. Again, that's that call that has to be cleaned up. Too much movement on that screen coming across the top. That's one of those where someone could really get hurt. Well, and not that Alex Caravan is not trying to hurt.
No, and the same call was made against Ben Gold.
Yes.
Same exact call was made against him. And it just, I know it feels like a root canal to Danny, but it was a good call.
But players have to be more, you got to be more fundamentally sound setting that pick up.
Look out. Parham filling it up. They stand on their feet as Marquette gets the stop and looks to extend the lead, something they've been unable to do all afternoon. Mullins is 0 for 7 from beyond the arc. Look out. Oh, a ball fake and a beauty. Oh, Parham putting it on the deck and making them smile. It's an 8-0 run. It's a timeout. Listen to them.
Well, tides have changed. Ribas tried to step in for Terrace Reed, but the complexion has changed since Reed has been on the bench. And Royce on par from downtown, and now you fall for it. And what does he do with size, length, the floater? Royce Parham carrying the Golden Eagles. Marquette up 4 here in Milwaukee.
Boy, have they been able to get the job done on those dribble drives. All the attention being paid to James has opened it up for Parham.
I agree, Tim. He attracts so much attention, Nigel James Jr., that guys are just filling into those spaces. They're diving. Royce Parham, as you said, is Marquette. No, Royce Parham's on an 8-0 run.
Yeah.
I was going to say Marquette, but Royce has scored the last 8. And since Ryba's going to do what he does.
Yeah.
But with Reed out of the game, Marquette is 8 for 12. Danny Hurley knows that. And guess who's back in the game for UConn? Got to stem the tide. You got to put Reed back in, he's in.
Yeah, you had to have him. Because in many respects, Nigel James will be less receptive to driving into the paint when Terrace Reed is there. Can Marquette continue to get stops? That's the question. We got 13 and change to find out. Great defensive work again. Parham on both ends now, becoming a huge factor.
Sometimes as a player out of a timeout, you're trying to help so badly that you run the play instead of just being a basketball player.
And on that dribble drive, a reach-in foul on Ross.
I think Jaden Ross at the other end was playing the play, and he thought he had Reed as he jumped in the air. And coaches say never jump in the air. And then on the other end, Ball trying to get those feet. That's an easy foul. You could have given that to either one there.
Yeah, I thought it was Ross. It is Ball that gets his third, and that's huge.
Yeah.
For Solo, Danny would certainly prefer that foul had been given to Jaden Ross, as I had originally thought. Look at that, 5 team fouls now, so just a couple away from the bonus is Marquette, and that's a walk.
Good call. We've seen a couple of those happy feet in the paint there. And James, I like him doing kind of the Jason Kidd, the Steve Nash, you know, even the Trae Young, where you get into the paint, you dribble out of the paint, you get back into the paint. Just don't pick your dribble up when you get in there. You almost get stuck, but he's done so many things so well. He's got 16 points, 6 of 9 shooting, 6 assists. He does have 4 turnovers, though, Tim.
But, you know, Shaka told us yesterday, and he's right. You got to live with some of those.
Yes,
I agree. You just do, because he
is a talent, man.
And he's so connected to everyone else on the floor.
Just an energy. He is playing with a different level of maturity for a freshman. And
again, did not pick up that third foul early in this half, which, given where we were at the break, was very important. Those are the 5 scoring leaders for UConn. There's a turnover. Ross to the rack. Largest lead of the day for Marquette. A 10-0 run.
And that's 9 fast break points for Marquette, who averages about 15, so you'd have to expect that's what they're going to be doing, a steady diet of that the rest of this game, downhill.
Another deflection. Stevens! And a foul. Wave that off. Foul was prior to the bucket.
Well, defensively, Marquette set the tone in the first half with those deflections. They've continued to show up in those passing lanes. Chase Ross getting downhill to the basket. The senior trying to go out with a bang on senior day. Marquette up And Hurley upset.
Next year. And those national championships mean a lot. And locally, an independent film is being put together. Jim Meyer, one of the great boosters here. Jamie Dykes, a producer in Los Angeles, teaming together, raising the funds so they can have an epic film, feature film made about the life of Al McGuire between '74 when they lost the championship to NC State with Burleson and Monty Tao, to '77 when they stole that national title in many respects from UNC Charlotte and North Carolina at the Omni in Atlanta. It was my honor, one of the true honors of my life, was to get to work the NCAA tournament with the great Al McGuire.
I bet. And I heard he was a calm guy. But listen, no great wisdom has been without a touch of madness.
Yes,
we know
indeed.
that.
Yeah. The great Kurt Gowdy, who was my mentor, and Dick Enberg, another mentor, of course, called that national championship game in '77 in Atlanta. And it was a thrill for me to be with Al because of the other magnificent stars and analysts like Vitale, like Packer, that I had the honor to work with. They were the big three of basketball.
Are they going to pay you for the narration, or you got to talk to your agent? 11-0 run here.
Yeah.
Marquette. Coach McGuire would be proud,
yes,
and he is looking down right now. And right now, if you're UConn, patience, we know they play with that. And they're going to use all of that clock if they have to.
Ooh, Demery, and he's fouled, and that's number 4 on goal.
Great recognition by Silas Demery. Looking away, thinking, okay, we got some time on the clock, but I got a mismatch. I know I can win this foot battle. Love it. This is a great misdirection read by Silas Demery. And that's just a tough one for Ben Gold.
It is, and think about it now. It's a 7-point lead, but a lot of time remaining and holding on against a team that has as many out pitches as this Huskies team has. And listen, Alex Caravan is one of those guys that can go 0 for 38 minutes and then hit you with 3 or 4 straight threes late in a game.
And something that Danny Hurley, Coach Hurley, has always done is he's shown confidence in Caravan and Ball. And no matter if they're struggling or not, he will keep them in games. And we have seen this, and we may see it today if it gets close. Those two guys come up with big plays, not just big threes, but huge plays. That's why he leaves them on the floor.
Did you notice Nigel James got an extra minute and 13 seconds coming out of that timeout? Smart move by Shaka, because he's going to need him on the deck the rest of the way, and that's a tie ball.
Demery.
And it'll stay on this end because of the alternating possession, but Demery right there.
Another part of the game I think needs to be adjusted by the rules committee. This is such great work defensively. Let's jump this ball up.
Yeah.
I'm so over that possession arrow, Tim. Leave it in the hands of the players.
Agreed.
Jump it up.
Look out, no help. There's James. Oh, the iron unkind. And it's pulled down by Reed.
But the boys in baby blue are standing on the perimeter. No crashing there. You got to crash and try to get that offensive rebound.
That ball was deflected, and it belongs to Marquette. Well, these turnovers now are really adding up for UConn. Very, very outside the norm. 4 turnovers in the last 5 trips for the Huskies. That's just in this half. 6 overall. And those deflections have played a major role in it.
Yeah, they have. They just disrupt. They change things. Even if you don't get the ball back in a possession, you still shortens the clock, puts the offense on their heels.
Stevens, ooh, he lost his dribble for just a second, had to give it up to James. Reed with the rebound.
That's the one part of his game he's going to continue to get better at and find more confidence from behind the arc, Matthew James Jr. Not that he can't make them, but that rate has got to be higher as he gets older.
Ball goes Euro. Great recognition defensively by Stevens to Sky for that rebound. James threatening that drive, but Demery cuts him off.
Like that corner 3.
Oh, yeah.
Listen, that's the confidence. And he does shoot 37%. He's going to it's not a high rate for him. He doesn't shoot a lot of them, but I tell you what, that three-ball corner pocket is a much more confidence-building three than at the top. Love that. Continue to shoot it. Numbers are numbers.
Oh, Stevens got his hand in there again looking for a pilfer. This is now a 14-2 run. I can't remember the last time I said that against a UConn team in the second half.
Listen, he's taken about 106 threes this season. Nigel James Jr. So he's in a position to be able to shoot more and more of those. He's just going to continue to get better, but I love those three balls, corner pockets for guys.
Well, Connecticut needs a bucket here.
They do.
They've gone 5 minutes without a field goal.
And this is the kill zone, is what Marquette calls it. One more stop here.
Ball, tough shot. Danny Hurley now knows this Marquette team with only 6 wins is playing I can't drive 55 basketball today. And look at those turns. And this building's already made a lot of noise. The explosion, if they score here and get a double-digit lead, could be incredible. We are Marquette. They strike up the chant.
Terrific individual defense right here. Good switch.
James in traffic.
Travel.
Yep.
That's
over the wall.
Great defensive set there because of the switching, the communication between Dimmery and Mullins. And that's when you want a little hesitation, see what they do. Now you turn the corner. But I love the energy that Nigel James Jr. is playing with right now. And you called it earlier, Tim. Sometimes you gotta live with those mistakes that may happen. They can afford it right now. They got a nice little cushion here, but got to be wary of UConn.
Mullins, who's gone 0 from downtown. Caravan without a field goal. Ball is only warmed up somewhat today. Caravan. Oh, that's a diabolical miss. The ball halfway down the cylinder and out. The net, by the way, has closed at the UConn basket. They'll have to stop play here with the basket now in the position it's in. At least I thought they might. Perhaps not. You look at the basket. Caravan got so much of the net before it closed. Another near steal, and that's a foul on James, and that's big. And the crowd knows it. And they have now repaired the net.
That's great restraint by Greg Evans because this call came, and Hurley was calling that before it happened. And
ooh, that's a lot of ball.
You can see why the crowd doesn't like it.
And I think Shaka had an argument. People wonder the message that coaches love to send. Mullins off the heel. And the rebound collected to Ross.
Yeah, shots are now, three-point shots are very deep. Caravan, Mullins, those are outside of NBA range because the defense is pushing them out. Got to continue to try to get that ball inside. We haven't said Terrace Reed's name in a while for UConn.
We could be watching the greatest regular season upset of the year in the Big East today. It's a 7-minute UConn drought. James just threw that one up. Every loose ball to Marquette. And that is a shot clock violation. Creighton got the W in stores and people were amazed. Here, Nigel James Jr. and company trying to pull off the unthinkable and make St. John's the sole winner of the Big East. UConn's got a lot of work to do, a lot of wood to chop. Number is sponsored by Vivid Seats, home of the lowest price guarantee. Download their app today and look at that, will you? 7.5 minutes without a field goal with all of that weaponry.
In this half.
Yeah, in this half.
The first half.
They went 6-17.
That's almost 14 minutes of a game, and we still have 7.5 that UConn has gone scoreless.
Now
that is incredible. I saw that number this morning. No opponent has shot over 50% from the field against UConn. 1 of 10 D1 teams have done that. UConn is 1 of 10, excuse me.
Yeah.
Today, Marquette, look at the bottom, 56%. That is astounding. It's a testament to UConn's defense, but somehow Marquette has found a way to find cracks, creases in that UConn defense.
And as is often the case at the end of a regular season, we talk about the dog days of February. And certainly the season has been, let's face it, a bit of a dog overall for Marquette. Sometimes the basketball gods respond when your culture and your effort absolutely contradict the reality of where you are in a season. And that's what Shaka Smart showed us in practice yesterday and has been in evidence in the game this afternoon.
Well said, Tim. You're right on the money. And right now what happens is that saying that I love, one of my favorite sayings, be where your feet are. That's what's happening with Marquette. Not worried about who they're playing, the record, their record. They're playing basketball.
There's the follow by Ross as Reed was pressured defensively. And that ends that drought of almost 8 minutes for the Huskies. And those second chance points now ballooned to 11-0 on the side of UConn.
A lifetime to play in this game. Marquette has to understand that.
Especially the guard play. You got to value the ball. James knows that, as does Stevens. Shot clock down to 5. Pick and pop, pick and roll inside, and it's deflected by Ross. Only 1 on the shot clock. So this has got to be a lob of some kind. Only 1 second left on the shot clock.
Great job, help defense-wise from Ross. I like the no call, too. Look, you can call this every single time. There probably was some contact there, but, you know, UConn did the job. They jumped the ball, made a tough pass.
And now they take the timeout because clearly Shaka wants to get something out of this possession. And he'll diagram an out-of-bounds play from underneath the hoop. And Gold, who does have 4 fouls, has checked in for this play. Again, a reminder for UConn to claim a portion of the Big East regular season championship, they have to win today. Well, St. John's is alone atop the Big East now in the standings, and because of tiebreakers, St. John's has already secured the #1 seed for next week's tournament at MSG. Well, you talk about a bubblicious tilt. How about that one later today?
Yeah.
Ohio State and Indiana.
Indiana's a fun team to watch.
And I don't know that
struggle with consistency, but they are fun to watch.
I don't know that you want to have a tournament without Thornton in it when you can have one opportunity. Here's the pass out of the out-of-bounds play, and he could not get it. Boy, it was right there, too. Right there. Just could not convert. They executed the play except for the bucket opportunity as Parham could not get the chippy. Yeah, only 5 field goals this half for the Huskies. Karaban has failed to hit one himself. And there is a hand check and bump. It'll go against Marquette. And Adrian Stevens, his second.
You saw that graphic where this, Marquette hasn't beaten an AP top 5 team since Kansas in 23. And it's a UConn team that has been in the top 10 of every AP poll this season. And only 3 other teams have done that. Duke, Houston, and Michigan. Pretty good company for UConn.
Without a doubt. And in leagues where you could absorb losses and maintain your ranking.
It's nothing they don't deserve, this UConn team. But they're right now being pressed.
Ross. Oh, the soft southpaw makes it 58-49. 6 minutes left. Karaban. His personal drought continues. Ross leaves it.
I like the patience. That's the keeping the dribble alive.
Reed comes out to show. Why not? If good on one side, why not the other?
I think they got to talk about it, UConn here. This thing's getting stretched out.
Listen to them. What made Milwaukee famous?
would say libations are what made Milwaukee famous, and there will be a lot of those tonight if this Marquette team can hang on here the next 5:21. Chase Ross on senior day knocking down 2 big threes, and there's just something optically about the score going over 10 that gives you a different sense of urgency,
a different vibe.
If you're UConn, and a sense of confidence for Marquette.
Look at that three-point shooting stat here in this half. 1 out of 10 versus 5 for 7.
2 for 20 from 3 for UConn.
I mean, it can happen. Remember that great shooting Villanova team that went on to win a national title? For Jay Wright, they came in here and had a similar kind of game. Raft and I were here for that game.
I had one of those as well back there.
It can happen.
Yes.
And that team went on to win the national championship.
Yes.
And that was the only time, and Steve Wojciechowski was the coach at Marquette at the time. That was the only time in all of Al McGuire's career he never played a #1 team.
Yeah.
Never had an opportunity. And they beat Villanova that night, stormed the court. And the Wildcats went on to win it all. And this UConn team is certainly one of the teams that could win it all.
Yeah. And this UConn team's 4-1 since Wojciechowski was the coach here.
That's right.
On this floor.
Look at that. Stevens again on the deck. But a return to sender by Demery.
Need it.
Mullins.
Got it.
Big time. Remember that play. 61-52. Huskies can make up a lot of ground in a short span of time. Just too much in their arsenal. Oh, look out. What a move. He did not get the jumper to go, but it was a beautiful move to set up the 3 for James. And there's a foul against Parham. Give Demery so much credit for not giving up on this play, because if this steal turns into a bucket, it is going to be a real tough hill to climb.
Really nice job by Stevens getting that deflection. You get to the floor, you're trying to throw it up ahead so you can live with those aggressive plays, but Mullins in the right place, right time.
Both teams now with 16 fouls, so we go to the bonus on the next personal foul for either team. Mullins. That's going to be an over the back on Demery.
I would love to see UConn throw that ball inside to Terrace Reed. They really have not. The only answer Marquette has had for Terrace Reed are the fouls they put on him. That's it. They really have not gotten him, made him uncomfortable down low. It would slow the pace down just a little bit and get kind of back to where I think UConn is at their best in the half court. Those quick pin downs and down screens for Braylon Mullins, great. But right now, Marquette has figured out how to jump some of those passes and speed up the catch and shoots from the shooters for UConn. Would love to see the big fella catch that ball down low.
Reed, since returning in this game, 9 minutes played with no points.
Yeah, and he's in there, and teetering with some fouls. Here's a little zone they're showing. You can still get that ball inside to him. Find the free throw line or baseline. And look how far away from the basket he is.
Yeah.
That's a good call. Good job by Demery. He knows aggressively, defensively, what Marquette's trying to do. You got to combat that.
3:55 remaining. These are the faces looking to go places in the time we have remaining. And oh, by the way, Marquette looking to make some history today. Would be the biggest upset of the Big East season. Okay, Rob, thank you. We update those Big East standings with the Butler win over DePaul and the Villanova victory as well. How about 24 wins for Kevin Willard in season number 1 in Philadelphia?
How about 20 wins for Shaheen Holloway?
Yeah.
10 in conference play. Come on.
And
then look
our
at
game
that.
here, as you look at our game summary, sponsored by Progressive, gets slam dunk savings today. 36% is just, I mean, that's Twilight Zone stuff.
Yeah, and just to remind
UConn.
people, this is an important game for UConn. We talked about it off the top, how you want meaningful games late because it just keeps you involved. It keeps your, it keeps your interest there, and they can get a share if they pull this out, UConn.
Yeah, I definitely believe that a victory for a team like Marquette today, even though it's their senior day, is huge.
Yeah.
St. John's losing to Providence the way they did, we were on hand for that one. I certainly thought the Creighton victory, given the loss of Dix's mom and the injuries that they had incurred, was a breathtaking win for Coach Mack at Creighton. But this is, especially given the defensive job that Marquette has done against this arsenal of offense that UConn has. Here we go, 61-54 and under 4 to play. And they pick up full court. This is where Nigel James handling the orange can come in really handy for you.
Just containing him is all you need to do. I don't think you need to lock him down, but just kind of keeping him in front of you for UConn and sending help once he drives and draws a few on that weak side. Pay attention.
Against Ross.
Keep him in front.
Parham, a good ball fake again. There's contact underneath. And the foul spotted against whom? And it's Reed that gets the foul. And that means he's got 4.
Again, you go for that shot fake if you're Ross. You got to stay on your feet, and you can contest that late. Parham needs a little time. He will shoot that and can make it. But got to stay with your fundamentals defensively that far away from the hoop.
Sometimes you get lost when you think of the talent that James is, but Royce Parham is, I mean, this is a young man that participated in the training camp for USA under 19. I mean, he's a gifted basketball player.
And he's been thrust into a position of leadership, and some guys, I think he was ready. It took a little bit of time of getting consistency, but we've seen that with Marquette before of next guy up. It's your turn now. You got to grab it and go with it, lead us.
When teams arrive at MSG next week, and Shaka Smart is interviewed, he'll be saying, we just wish the season were a little longer.
Right, yeah.
Regardless of the outcome today, I mean, they are playing at their peak level.
A little 3-2 zone here. But now they get back to that 2-3.
Ooh, a near pick. And a foul afterwards against Ross. Got a little too physical after he tried for the steal and missed.
I know what Ross was thinking, though. He's thinking live ball. He sees a little bit of this ball outside of the little bobble there. Okay, I'm going for it. Give me a shot. I feel your pain there, Chase.
By the way, you notice it's the end of his senior year. That harness is off. It's bye-bye shoulder harness.
And he's made a couple from deep this half as well after taking that off.
Shaka is subbing now, offense for defense, with James and Gold. Back and forth now with this lead where it is at 7 pending this free throw from Demery.
Yeah, both with 4 fouls. A little game of chess now begins the last 3 minutes of this game.
You might want to use that clock a little bit more with each possession if you can get past the pressure in your backcourt. James looks for the rack. Gold! Oh, what a golden moment for the senior! The first second chance points come at just the right time. Now another steal. Numbers for Marquette.
I don't think you need to be in a hurry if you're Marquette right now.
If they hold on and win this game, do you think the shot in the paper tomorrow of that slam by Gold might make it past the editor? Wow. 2 and change left.
Got to go fast here. A little bit faster if you're UConn.
They tied it up.
Jump ball.
Yep. It does stay down here. UConn will retain possession, but the next one will go to Marquette when we have an alternating possession.
The last thing you want to do is to be passive against a full court press. And again, Nigel James has done it all game long. He draws 2. Look at this, Demery, Reed, no one under the basket. Great follow. They've consistently done that all game long. And then the terrific D by Adrian.
Norman and Hamilton are in to play defense as Golden and James sit down. And now with this foul call, they'll have to get the 2 of them back in there. Shaka is shuttling those 2 guys who each have 4 fouls between every play that he can, offensively and defensively.
I mean, these are the situations that, you know, coaches live for when they've had a rough season. And Shaka Smart thriving in his substituting, understanding when, time, and score, and keeping his team calm and poised. One thing you've learned, though, when you watch a Dan Hurley coach team is you can't celebrate until there are zeros on that clock.
And now, with that free throw made, it is officially a 2-possession game. 2:05 left. James. He's wide open. They left him. Offensive rebound and a big one by Stevens.
Only their 5th offensive rebound of the game.
That was huge.
And none bigger. I didn't like the shot from James. Again, time and score.
Stevens off the heel. Ball the rebound.
But I get it. You're trying to put the nail in the coffin and cap off a terrific game that he's had. 19 points for Nigel James Jr.
UConn can only stop the clock one more time. And Caravan with a killer? No. Air ball. Put back is a beauty by Ross. It's down to 4 and a quick timeout by Danny Hurley.
Tell you what, this clock couldn't go any faster for Marquette. I mean, they're like running clock. This is a game that they have worked. Definitely not a pass. I know he does a lot of things great, Alex Caravan. But great follow by Ross on the other side. Heads up play.
I honestly believe that shot from Caravan was going to go.
Yeah.
After seeing him his entire career, but he is human after all. Now, that was the Huskies, as we mentioned, last time out. So they can't stop the clock again. But what a day for these seniors from Marquette. And Nigel James leading the way out of Long Island Lutheran, Huntington, New York.
Yeah, got them off to a great start. First half, he had 12. He's got 19 right now. But the pressure he keeps on defenses with the ball handling, his ability to keep those eyes up and find guys. He draws so much attention. And then the fact that he's a 37% three-point shooter. Tell you what, the future is bright for Nigel James Jr.
Again, I hearken back to that moment with a 9-point lead and a steal and the ball. Demery gets a return to sender turnover just after Stevens had gotten the ball. They score there. They are going to go up by 11 with very little time really for a catch-up. And instead they get the 3-ball from Mullins. And that kept them at that point at 9. And now look, they are 2 possessions away from either tying or taking the lead here, UConn.
And no timeouts for UConn.
Someday for Nigel James.
Marquette's got 2 timeouts. Important to know, just because You get stuck, you get in a tough situation, you got a couple to work with here.
And remember, another tie ball is possession to Marquette. And those scrums happen a lot in situations like these. For the Huskies, a share of the Big East title is what's at stake.
We saw Marquette working on press breakers yesterday in practice. You don't see that a lot. Teams don't press.
Nice handle by Gold there.
Yeah, it's smart. Pick it up. Find your leader out there, Nigel James Jr.
Initiate the offense with 10 seconds left. James. Not as much lift on those jump shots of late. He was short with the last one, and that one was a little long.
Don't need a three if you're UConn.
Demery. Caravan.
Wow. Wide open.
And that's a foul underneath. And it's going to be a clear out against Ross.
I initially liked the layup by Demery, but it's totally acceptable, and you understand if that extra pass is made and Caravan hits that. We've seen it so many times.
Just keeping Terrace Reed on the floor was important to Danny Hurley. Even though he was lacking production in the second half, his presence means so much on the defensive end. This to cut it to 2.
Beautiful. Such a value to have a big that can knock down free throws late game.
So now the heat is on. Can Marquette find a way to will one in the basket? They were looking for daggers earlier. Now they just need a basket, period. Shot clock differential is right at 13.
And now UConn is going to rely on what's gotten them to this point all season, their defense. They are a much better defensive team than last season, and they're relying on that now.
Ross and Gold. Shot clock at 3. Uh-oh, an avenue. A high lifter that doesn't go. UConn can tie it or win it.
Gotta go.
On this possession. Demery. No. Rebound. Marquette. .4 is left. It's not over. It's not over. Did we get a T?
Danny Hurley just got thrown out of the game.
Danny Hurley just got turned away. A technical called by Gaffney as Hurley left the bench. That will secure the win, and the crowd knows it.
Kamani Young imploring Danny Hurley, trying to be that stopgap, if you will, to get his coach to head to the locker room, but I understand the passion.
Yeah,
he wanted a foul call right here.
Yeah. Right
play by Demery, and really good defense. Not good, great defense by Ben Gold.
Danny
Straight
knew,
up.
Danny knew that a tie ball was going to Marquette, so in all likelihood the game is over regardless. But boy, what a bad time to get tossed. Because people will remember that.
And the people that will remember it are the officials.
Yeah. But going into MSG next week. And that's just part of the deal. But a championship for the Big East, for him, you know the competitive spirit within this guy. But what a moment for Marquette.
Tell you what
an incredible day for Shaka Smart's team that they pulled this off.
And on senior day, that is, to me, the most special deal with this win today. And they're going to put a second up there, but like you said, possession arrow towards Marquette.
Right.
You get it in, throw it up in the air, game over.
Danny wasted no time, and he got his licks in immediately. Gaffney would have none of it.
And John Gaffney, one of the guys, you can't touch the ref, though. There was a bump there.
And the Big East office will see that.
And Gaffney, John Gaffney, again, one of the best officials in the country to allow referees to be themselves. He extends that. He understands the passion, but The contact made is just not acceptable.
Fitting, don't you think, that Chase Ross, one of the two seniors today that gave so much of himself through his career, did a lot of winning until this year, has the chance to provide the coronation to a remarkable win on his last day to compete as a collegian. Technicals plus the foul. Crowd wants to erupt and sort of begin the court storming before they even get possession of the ball. That is enough. But they're getting greedy here and would like a little more. Rick Pitino is smiling somewhere and awaiting, I'm sure, a nice Saturday afternoon brunch in Manhattan. Gets his second straight Big East title. And Shaka Smart gets a chance to get some other seniors on the floor, which is kind of cool. 1+1 coming now as Golds checks out.
Tim, people think this is something small, but look, in this era, a 1-1 here. This game, this win helps as you prepare for the Big East tournament, obviously, but for next season as well.
Without a doubt, you build on this. Casey O'Malley comes. And by the way, the questions are going to be: can you hold on to a guy like Jenkins? Well, if you're Shaka Smart's program, you likely do.
Adrian Stevens as well.
You likely do. That's what makes Shaka Smart and his program so special, and why there's no concern, even with some of the issues in this, the NIL and portal period. Congratulations, Marquette, on a signature win to conclude what has been a very difficult season.
Yeah, just, again, it's about culture for Marquette, and if you continue to believe in that culture, regardless of your record on the season, things like this happen, and Marquette work their tails off from the tip. This is nothing they don't deserve. This is, what a win for them.
Our last game together this year. Enjoyed it, partner. Now, many thanks to Caden Pfeiffer, our producer, director, Tyler Dare, Ethan Cooperson with me all season long. After the break, we'll get to the Phoenix for the weekend's IndyCar race. For all of them, Tim Brando saying so long from Milwaukee.